All right, so this is kind of like just sets a mood. It gives you an idea of the colorations that will be used and where that inspiration came from. So this first delivery of spring is really kind of built in this kind of cabana, um, kind of beach Miami vibe, and I wanted to emphasize that by the colorations. Now as we move into product, first start with some outerwear, so you get a sense of this idea of motorcycle jacket in a garment dyed cotton broken twill with some leather details, contrast leather detail. Doing a micro rib stop in this kind of like military guayabera. This is really kind of a tip to the hat to Castro.
Or with some Narcos,
Oh yeah,
Pablo.
Pablo Escobar. This is an all-over printed blazer, and this what I'm doing is I'm taking a palm print and kind of creating this like subtle camouflage type effect. Good music.
And this one here.
This is a bomber jacket. This is one of the most important silhouettes for in menswear at the moment. It's a bomber jacket. So we've done this bomber jacket with this faux suede printed patch pocket that has a zipper on the front to give it a little bit more character.
Okay.
Now moving into sweater knits for the first delivery. We offer this kind of like suede front, perforated suede front, zip front hoodie. Has some suede trim around the hood opening as well. This is a really good way to kind of create this layered look in a cardigan body. Doing this yarn dyed stripe, dip dyed cotton viscose spandex sweater. One of the things that you'll find as I go through this is that a lot of the product either has some spandex in it or some performance fabric base, either poly or nylon combinations. This is because that in the industry right now and what's happening, what's trending, is a lot of the performance fabrics, but taking the performance fabrics and doing them in a very sportswear way. So the idea is comfort. You want to be able to put something on and have the comfort that you would find in some of your athletic apparel. And so as I go through the line, you'll start to see some more of that. Now we start getting into the wovens. So this board here helps kind of tell this story as well. So you get to see some of the larger scale, almost actually the actual size of the patterns and scales, and some imagery again from the inspiration of kind of this Miami Beach cabana poolside living, kind of luxury lifestyle influence. So those patterns exist in some of these styles here, kind of like a short sleeve model. Doing some interesting things with prints. That's a printed pattern, and this is like a dip dyed stripe. So you do an engineered dip dyed stripe on the body to kind of give it some more interest. So it's not just a basic plaid shirt. This shirt will have some seersucker detailing on it. So we do some engineered seersucker. So the darker stripes would be the parts of the shirt that would be puckered. And this guy is really more of like just a mini plaid, but it's a cotton poly blend, so it has this really great performance hand to it. Right now we're in a really strong woven cycle. It's starting to pick back up again. And so the prints have been very successful across all brands, and so it's important that we do that. So here we have a basket weave that has a dip dyed effect pattern on it. Moving to the next, we're kind of taking this idea from an old school bowling shirt, a 1950s bowling shirt, and giving it a new modern twist. This is something that is a little bit more dressy. It's a little bit more sophisticated. Two patch pockets. I'm sorry, two chest pockets that are just kind of like the clean flaps. So this kind of gives us this really modern kind of like helmet lang feeling. This is a shadow plaid. This ombre plaid becomes, it's very important. It's also a very important plaid pattern that's being used a lot in some of the more designer brands. And following it up and closing off with a small check. It's really important that when you do a presentation of wovens that you represent all scales and sizes, but you make sure that they all tie back to your theme. And so this is one of the reasons that this item exists. Going into the knit portion, taking the idea of the layering, which is so important throughout the men's trends, and doing a double layered tee. This will be constructed of a high twist cotton fabrication. This will allow it to have a dry hand, and then doing it in like 100 grams per layer, so that it balances out like a regular t-shirt weight, but still feels very light and airy. Taking this idea of the print and again how important prints are in the woven category and bring that into the knits category, so that you are representing, because this is really the next phase of fashion. Will be moving into the printed knits. John Varvatos has had a lot of success with his linen jersey V-neck, and so we're offering that here, but in a yarn dyed stripe with a few little details like a contrast collar. Now moving into some more of the knit portion. This is a jacquard knit on the sleeves, so we have that pattern is kind of built into the body. It makes a basic polo not so basic. This is a jacquard polo, and this is kind of like taking back to this idea of these old vintage feeling polos that were so important in the 50s and 60s, and doing an update on it. And then this is a cotton jacquard polo that just kind of like blends all the colors together in the palette, and is something that can be used and worn with most any of the other product, outerwear and bottoms as well. Getting into some of the bottoms. These are this kind of like a more of a dress pant, but it has some interesting details, like the fly has a kind of an angled approach, which is shown in all the bottoms, which becomes a detail that is specific to the brand, as well as the darts that are in the back yoke of the pant, and each one of them has very specific detailing and fits that are appropriate for the brand. Continuing bottoms, we've done a drop, kind of like a drop crotch, fuller leg pant with a pleat. So we're addressing some of the trends that are happening in men's bottoms. Also, of course, coming with cavalry twill short, because it's definitely the season 4 shorts. Garment dye effect, and then coming with the sateen enzyme wash cotton short with the permanent creases in it as well. And that's your first delivery. This is not including the denim, which is another portion that I'll be presenting at another time. So that is